we do a lot with sales training, and what we have found is the traditional training, as you see here, there's some issues with that. And one of the major issues that we see with the traditional approach, again, it's memorization. So you do some pre-work. Those could be page turners, but it's memorization. Classroom, still traditionally lecture format with the subject matter expert. You might do some role plays, but still basically memorization. This little scale at the bottom is Dreyfus's skill acquisition. And the major problem we see with traditional is when somebody goes into the field, they're still at a low level of skill acquisition, novice, getting into advanced beginner. So what a lot of organizations do is allow the field to be where the real training occurs. Problematic, frustrating, you can get turnover. And one of the things that's really important in life sciences is if these folks are new and they're trying to talk to a physician or a surgeon and they don't have the knowledge required, they're not adding value, they could harm the relationship. With M-PACT Learning, we're going to do application at every level along the way, not memorization. And as you can see, when you pair that with a good structured field experience, not just a ride along and hope, but an actual structured field experience, simple to complex, impetus on the learner, we can get them up to a much higher level of skill acquisition before entering the field. So with our model, when they enter the field, rather than being a novice or advanced beginner, they're competent, bordering on proficient. And of course, you have to be in the field to get up to the expert, but we can do that in a shorter period of time and reduce a lot of the risk. Let me just show you a quick example. With pre-work, a lot of people say, well, Jim, it's a module. There's not a lot of application you can do there. Let me show you an example of one. This is called Application Station, and it's a self-paced module. And what they're trying to do here, they've had some previous work. They're trying to use evidence, such as pharma evidence, and apply that based on a particular physician that they're trying to sell to. So let me launch this for you. So this isn't, because it is a kind of a prototype that we're allowed to show, not everything works, but the way it actually functions, we've done this for several organizations, is I can go in and determine what type of evidence I want to work with. So for this one, it's the titration schedule, and it's going to be a neurologist that I'm going to talk to about Performax, which is the drug. So the first thing we have them do is actually hear what this physician thinks about the current drug they're using, which is going to be Generex. And what we'll find is in the behavioral profile, they're going to be a controller. And that's going to be important as to how you are going to use evidence to sell. Let's go back and review the titration stuff that I need to know. So we have these experts always available to you to help you solve problems, to give you insights, etc. That's where we can do simulated collaboration. So in here, you're going to learn all about the titration. And in this case, the real issue here is that the titration schedule is long, but in this case, the results are an elimination of seizures as compared to simply modifying them. Now, M-PACT Learning, we always want to apply the knowledge, right? So what we're going to do is give you a scenario. And here's the scenario. You're going to watch this sales associate with the physician discussing Performax. It's a neurologist. She's currently using Generex, and this individual is worried about titration. So you would watch that interaction. Then we're going to have them actually apply the knowledge that they've just learned. And what I mean by that is, let's evaluate this. So again, it's simulated collaboration, it's problem-based learning. Did they use all the available evidence? I think they did a pretty good job with that. Did they use the collaborative approach? Yep. How about the discussion based on that particular profile? I thought they did a good job with that. Did the rep effectively address the concerns? Did a good job with that. And then they did secure a next step, because in that video, they ended up getting a follow-up meeting. Now, did I do that correctly? Am I applying the evidence correctly? How would I know that? Well, it's a self-paced, and I don't necessarily want to put this in an LMS. So what I do is I compare my answers to that of an expert. So again, simulated collaboration. And you go down through here, I did a pretty good job, except I said they used a collaborative approach, and the expert said they didn't do a very good job with that. I need them to explain that to me. So the expert comes up and explains why they could be better at using a collaborative approach. So again, everything we talked about with M-PACT Learning is in there. Collaboration, problem-based learning, etc. What's also cool is even though I may have matched, I still may want to hear from the expert about what they thought about, for instance, utilizing all available evidence. So I wanted to show you how we can, even with self-paced, get very effective learning, application of that learning, etc. Now, I have other examples of how we use that in the classroom. It's very similar. We're going to team people up, and I won't go into it because I want to show you some more innovative stuff we're doing, some new stuff. But in this case, in the classroom, what we would do, let's say it's a virtual session, same thing. Give them a scenario, give them the evidence, and then what we want them to be able to do is come to the virtual class and present how they would address that particular physician's concerns, objections, etc. So again, really good application. And rather than just having the rest of the class sit there and watch that, they're going to judge how effective they think the presentation was. So again, it's all application, which will in fact allow them to be much more ready in the field.